Okay, our beloveds, today is a message more about our another than about you, but again, she is the microcosm of the macrocosm, and you will find much relevance within this message. Our another posted about a week ago that her son was diagnosed with COVID, and she received many well wishes and queries from those of you about his health and well-being at this time. But one observation that she made, with our guidance of course, a couple of days ago was that no one in her extended family or her ex-husband's extended family had bothered to reach out and ask about Zachary's health. Now, the importance of this message today is that everyone is so wounded and so traumatized that they cannot simply pick up the phone or send a text or an email saying, "Can you please just give me an update on Zachary's health, and I want to let you know that I'm praying for him," or something like that. No, instead, these people have to hold themselves in their rigid place of, we are not communicating and I'm not willing to reach out. Now, our another has an ongoing conflict right now with her brother and his wife. And when their dog died very recently, she did the respectable and responsible thing and posted on their Facebook timeline her condolences, even though they are estranged from one another. This is what good, kind human beings do. When a crisis arises, you step over your current outreach and abilities, your unwillingness to compromise or collaborate or communicate or correspond or whatever the C word is. And you know what we mean by the C word for those who are paying attention. But it is our lesson for our another to show what love is and what it's not. She is able to bridge that divide because that's where her heart is. That's who she is. And she now expects and demands that others offer her exactly that same level of care and compassion. And criticism about where they differ is one thing. It's easy to criticize. You don't see the world as I do, but I am right and you are wrong. That's what these people are able to do, point out the differences. But when somebody is in a place that's quite scary, to be honest, and a possible death sentence for her son, as many of you are aware, you never know with COVID. No one but her father has reached out in her family or her ex's family. And she now sees who she is really dealing with. Cruel, unkind, incompassionate, lost souls who have no place in her life. There will be people who come and go, as that is the nature of life. But as we are teaching our another now what healthy boundaries are and what healthy expectations are, she can now weed out the wheat from the chaff and find only those who are worthy of being in her life. And sadly, she is learning that blood is not thicker than water. It is actually more confusing than that, because blood is where your past traumas and damaged lineage comes from. And when you break out of your cycle of abuse, Those who are still held within their own cycle of abuse are just simply not able to walk with you any further, and they veer off because your vibration simply irritates them. And that is the nature of the universe. No one who has gone through this journey as Kati has and holds her level of integrity, whatever and however you see that, no one has been able to maintain those old family relationships because they were as unhealthy as she was or they were. And now you create a whole new tribe or family based on those who understand your journey, who support your journey, who will cheerlead you along your journey, who will hold you when you need to cry, and who will simply love you as unconditionally as possible. And the rest of the people, they leave their lives because it's not a good vibrational match anymore. So our another, while saddened by this epiphany or realization, also sees that it's just merely another example, another stamp of what has always been there, and that is that she has been the one who has created most of the bridging because of how she doesn't judge others and how she just loves them and accepts them as they are. But she's now setting an expectation that only those who are like-minded are welcome in her world. And those who aren't are clearly exposing themselves through their actions, through their behaviors, through their unkind words spoken behind her back that she's aware of. And now she can move forward once again with those who love and support her and vibrate with her on this path to unrealized potential. Not what you have been told that you are, but what you really are. And how you get there is through leaning into the mystery of the unknown and deciding who and what is good enough to be in your life, and allowing the universe to filter those unworthy people out now without any judgment, but just simply to set them aside because their behaviors no longer align with the expectations of our another. And it is that simple. So go on today, reflect on this message if you can, if you find some wisdom therein, and if not, that's fine. This is more of a story for those who have gone along a similar path and will understand how this plays out. For those of you who haven't been called onto this journey yet, you will simply see it as a harsher, cold judgment placed upon others for failing to show up, and that she should just unconditionally love them. But what you don't understand is that this is why she stayed in an abusive relationship for all those years, because this is something that she does to a fault. And we are now teaching her that she needs to set healthy boundaries in order to keep herself physically, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually safe, as well as those within her care, which are her children and her pets. And so it is. Namaste.